8:03 a.m. Looks like that we do not have a physical quorum of the committee here. We actually don't. According to our assistant state's attorney here, we do not have a physical quorum present in the room, but our OMA permits currently members to attend remotely. We do have member officer council physically present at the regular meeting location. In-person attendance and public comments are allowed, subject to attendance limitations to ensure the health and safety of those who attend. So all of our votes are going to be roll call votes today. Roll call, please.
Chair Renahan?
Here.
Member Chaplin?
Here.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Here.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Here.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog?
Here.
Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy?
Here.
Member Selman? Member Zay?
Here.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
All right, moving on to Chairwoman's remarks. I wanted to thank very much Judge Anseline O'Halloran Walsh. Do we have her ready online? Okay, great. So been very excited to have her come and speak about specialty courts here in DuPage County. Unfortunately, she had an impromptu meeting come up at 8:30 this morning, so going to be remote, and I'm going to make sure, I would like to ask leave of the body after the acceptance of minutes to move her presentation to the top of the meeting. So we've got a lot to do today, so I know she will keep it brief and informative. I see you're on the line. Thank you again, Judge Walsh, for being here. With that, I'm going to quickly move to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2021 meeting.
Second.
So moved. Oh, second. Okay.
I'm sorry. Moved by
Chair Renahan, seconded by Desart.
Great, thank you. Do you have any additions, questions on those minutes? All right, roll call, please.
Chair Renahan?
Yes, aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman? Member Zay?
Aye.
All right, so those are approved. And with that, I'll ask for leave of the body to move item number 11 before item number 6, budget transfer. Any objections? All right, hearing none, leave is granted. And so Judge Walsh, the floor is yours. Welcome again.
Thank you for having me. My name is Anseline Walsh. I'm a circuit court judge here in DuPage County. And I was kindly asked to present on the division that I preside over, which is a specialty in juvenile courts with a focus on specialty courts. I understand that you all are pressed for time and you have a jam-packed agenda. So I trimmed my presentation, and I thought if there are any questions that anyone has, I'd be gladly happy to answer them via email. As well as, and I'll put that in the chat when I'm finished, if you have the chat feature, as well as a phone. I certainly will take any phone calls with any questions, and you all basically know where to find me. So with that, we'll begin. I just need to have on my side the notes. If I can ask our presenter, if maybe I can't do that. I need my notes. I don't know if it's possible. Here, I'm gonna, just give me a minute. I'm going to.
I see you working over there.
I'm gonna minimize you all, and then I can put up my own. Just give me 1 second. Is it full screen? And then I'll put on my, okay, they're gonna kind of go side here, wait. I apologize. I wasn't thinking that the presentation that you all put up for me would not include my notes for it. So just bear with me. Okay. I entered drug court, hopeless, naive, irresponsible, and directionless. The road to complete moral bankruptcy was the only sure thing in my life. I couldn't hold a job for more than a few months, yet I would go to ridiculous lengths to get my fix. Outside of my family, I had practically no positive relationships. only the other travelers down the road I was heading. Despite these glaring warning signs, I had unknowingly surrendered to my addiction, rendering me blind in a state of denial, far removed from reality. The most important lesson I learned was integrity is everything. Living by this core principle while going through drug court led me to embrace the concept of surrendering the outcome, a concept I used to wholeheartedly reject. I guess I'm still in a state of surrender, although unlike addiction, this way of life never requires me to surrender my integrity. For me, it was a matter of life and death, and I chose to live. Since completing the rigors of drug court, I am happy to report, today I'm a college student. Today I'm a volunteer giving back to the community and the county. Today I'm reunited with my family. Today I am a registered voter, and today I'm clean. These are the words of David M., who graduated from drug court in 2020 and remains committed to his recovery and sobriety to this day. Slide, please. David M. is the example for why our specialty courts, which is synonymous with problem-solving courts, because I'll use both interchangeably, are so integral to our judiciary and integral to the citizens of our county. In June of 2020, under Chief Garrett, I think, did you all move a slide? The only problem is that I'm looking for my slides. I want to make sure we're on specialty and juvenile courts division.
Yes, we are.
Okay, very good. I'll just indicate slide when we have to move along. Thank you. I just can't see both. So in June of 2020, last summer, Chief Judge Guerin, along with the circuit, created this new division, the Specialty and Juvenile Courts Division, because of the growing dockets of specialty and problem-solving courts, as well as the shared principles and practices of juvenile courts and specialty courts. The juvenile and specialty courts adhere to restorative justice principles, utilizing evidence-based practices with a goal to rehabilitate youth offenders as well as adult offenders. And as you can see, we have 4 specialty courts two under Judge Athanakar, Focus and Drug Court, under the Honorable Judge Marchese, MICAP, and Veterans, and then Judges Coco and Jacobs are 2 juvenile court judges. These courts require specially trained judges because their role is more extensive in these cases. They are much more involved with the participants, their families, especially in juvenile court, and other collaborative agencies such as NAMI, probation, the state's attorney, public defender, DCFS, the health department, the sheriff's office, social workers, and treatment providers. Slide, please. Specialty courts, as the data has proven, are necessary and impactful, and I think we're making a difference here in DuPage County with these courts. Problem-solving courts utilize a contract between the participant and the court or the state. It allows for charges to be reduced, amended, or dismissed if a program is completed and recovery is ongoing. The specialty courts focus on recovery, which in turn reduces recidivism. So everyone benefits. It's a basic win-win. You work on someone's individual treatment and recovery, and then they're less likely and they won't get back into the pattern of a cycle of crime. Slide, please. The overview of the specialty courts here in DuPage County are as follows. We have 4 specialty or problem-solving courts, 3 of which are certified that only require certification by the AOIC. Certification is a rigorous process, and we're very proud that our 3 courts, the drug court, mental health court, or MICAP, and our veterans court have been certified by the state. The focus court is a court that we created here in the 18th Judicial and actually have received awards for, or national recognition, I should say. That is not a court that is shared in the other circuits, so it's not one that requires certification. Not all offenders can participate in these specialty courts. There are certain requirements to be eligible, and they share many of the same requirements, but each of the individual courts also have certain criteria. All participants must be nonviolent misdemeanor or felony offenders. They have to have an identified need for drug, alcohol, or mental health treatment. They have to be a DuPage County resident. They have to have resolved all outstanding cases in this county and other counties. They also have to adhere to whatever the specialty courts for their specific type of court, whether it's drug court, MICAP, or veterans court, their criteria they have to adhere to in order to be eligible. But the key to the function of these courts and the key to the success of them is a defendant's willingness to participate. When I talk about a participant, I'm really talking about a defendant who has been charged with a felony or misdemeanor offense. And that participant must want the treatment, oversight, and accountability for these courts to be successful or the programs to be successful. There's a minimum 2-year participation in these programs. Participants are provided with the tools to help them toward their recovery. These courts adhere to a non-adversarial approach, which really defines them and differentiates them from our regular court calls and our regular court cases throughout the courthouse. A judge wears many hats, and the judge helps to keep these particular offenders on track in their recovery. They are required to attend increased court appearances to maintain accountability, as well as they have unique incentives with a focus on maintaining recovery rather than punishment. The judge often and the teams often impose incentives to try to get these particular participants back on track. And successful completion of the program ultimately means fulfilling the contract. And if that happens, then either the charge is reduced, amended, or dismissed, depending upon what the contractual obligations for the participant were. And then there's ultimately a drug court, or mental health court, or veterans court graduation. And they graduate in a ceremony. Slide, please. Okay, these courts utilize a team-based approach, and the success of the programs depend on the commitment and the support of the entire team. Each of the courts have a team that consists of a judge, state's attorney, public defender, or private defense counsel, probation staff, which includes officers and the program manager, and for veterans court, there's a specific veterans justice outreach specialist who acts as a liaison between the courts and the VA. Every week, the team engages in a staffing, which is quite a long meeting, which the judge leads with the staff to screen and evaluate applicants, address issues on participants' progress in the program, treatment and counseling, and determining individualized sanctions or incentives for those who are in the program. I can attest that I know that the two judges, Judge Athanakar as well as Judge Marchese, spent a great deal of time working with staff on all of these to try to keep these participants moving toward their recovery. And it takes a lot of time with the teams and the support of every single member of the team. The teams are also available 24/7, which also differentiates these courts. And that includes our judges. For example, if a participant experiences a crisis on the weekend or in the evening, such as an overdose, relapse, or mental health episode, the team appropriately responds. And I have even received phone calls from Judge Athanakar when there has been a crisis. Unfortunately, they take a lot of time with these participants. They get to know these participants, their family, and it always bears down really hard when there's a relapse or an overdose. And a lot of times those things have to be addressed by the entire team on the weekend. Slide, please. Here are some data. I'm sure many of you folks are all interested in data. Our numbers are growing and requiring more time commitment from our court teams. The court dockets have almost doubled in size in each of these specialty courts. The teams have implemented strategies to identify more participants because we do want to grow these programs because we think that they are so invaluable. One of those new initiatives came Judge Marchese in the Mental Health Court and Veterans Court, along with his team, came up with an idea with the Sheriff's Office to try to identify veterans that come in who are arrested at the Sheriff's Office to sort of flag those particular files to see if whether or not they'd be an appropriate candidate for drug court and to notify defense counsel of that. Our drug court participants at Veterans Court and MICAP, as well as Focus, like I said, have grown. If you look at the active participant row, you can see that Focus, a first offender drug court, essentially has over 1,000 cases. That's 1,000 individuals that is on Judge Athanakar's caseload. And those particular individuals, even though they may be caught, they may have gotten arrested for the very first time on a drug offense, it doesn't mean that they're not severely addicted. And that's why it's so important that particular program is excellent because it's an intervention oftentimes when someone might be far down the road in addiction. And if they're high risk, high need, Judge Athanakar addresses those issues very similar to the way that she would address them oftentimes in drug court with regard to treatment and recovery. Also, drug court holds three graduations per year. If you see the graduates on the bottom, they have to have completed all the terms and conditions of the contract, including 2 years of participation in the program, and they need to have maintained sobriety and recovery. Slide, please. The DuPage County Specialty Courts are growing, as I've indicated, but they're also being recognized statewide. We are very proud of this. Not only have we been certified by the Illinois Supreme Court on our 3 specialty courts that are capable of certification. The 18th Judicial Circuit has a seat at the table with the state of Illinois as part of a statewide committee to enhance problem-solving courts. And that includes Judge Kavita Athanakar and the probation officers Sue Murphy and Bernadine McFarland. They were basically cherry-picked by the state because of the great work that they've been doing to participate in a statewide committee, and they're actually revamping the committee. And just yesterday, Judge Athanakar presented on drug treatment and utilizing drug therapies as part of revamping of the curriculum for training judges, as well as all the specialty court stakeholders. The state utilizes our programs as an example for other circuits and calls on our judges and probation officers to teach and present on various topics. And like I said yesterday, Judge Athanakar taught on one of those particular topics. So like I said, we are becoming what I would consider maybe the gold standard for the way that we handle our drug courts or our specialty courts here in DuPage County. Additionally, as I mentioned, the focus court gained some national recognition by NACO, the National Association of Counties, which granted DuPage a 2019 Achievement Award for Focus in the category of criminal justice and public safety. And this particular award honors top county government programs that are innovative and enhance services for their residents. And, we've been evaluating how the focus court is working. We do think that it's definitely worthwhile. It was kind of the brainchild from Judge Guerin, when he was a chief, and it has developed into an excellent program and hopefully some intervention on folks that find themselves in the criminal justice system that are severe or that are addicted. And finally, the last slide. Sustainability and support lead to success. So we have, in addition to all we've been doing internally in order to sustain our programming, our judges and as well as the teams have applied for local and national and grants to improve our programs. And we've had great success with that. The specialty courts have applied and received grants from a variety of agencies, including the HOPE Task Force, which that's thanks to Chair Greg Hart, as well as the other members, the Bureau of Justice Administration, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the DuPage County Bar Foundation, and the U.S. Department of Justice. We are always seeking grant funding to expand and accelerate our programs, such as mentor programs, recovery coaches, and participant incentives. The specialty court teams have enhanced their programs through innovation and grant funding. And ultimately, our goal is to sustain and bolster our specialty courts. Why? And how? Well, why? Because they are integral, as I indicated in the beginning, to the continuation of doing the appropriate justice here in DuPage County. These types of courts are recognized nationwide. They are definitely trending upward to try to deal with folks that who have mental health and drug addiction issues that ultimately land them in the criminal justice system. And it's a way for us to outreach and to try to get them out of that cycle, which, like I said before, reduces recidivism. And how can we sustain and bolster our specialty courts? Well, we can increase participation. We're working on that, enhancing partnerships with NAMI, the Veterans Administration, and other organizations. And I personally am and have been involved in that. That's one of the roles that I have here as the presiding, is to work collaboratively, even more so with the agencies who have been so good to these programs, focus on ongoing community recovery to keep participants engaged even after they graduate, and recertification. And on behalf of the specialty court judges and the teams, I'm proud to say that we are on our way to achieving that gold standard for the specialty court programs in the state. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Judge Walsh. I wish we had time for more conversation on this topic, but we do have a full schedule and I know you've got an appointment. So thanks to you, Judge Athnadikar, Marchese, Coco, and Jacobs for all you do. It's so important.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Great, thanks. With that, I will take a motion to combine budget transfers 6A, B, C. Just A, B, and C. Do you have a motion? Second, Garcia. All right, questions on combining?
Item number C, I'm really happy to see that we are monetarily rewarding some of our employees during COVID, and I was just curious where this came from and what this person did.
Okay.
Service to our county.
Do we have Suzanne Armstrong on the line?
Hi, this is Suzanne. You know, this, we didn't add that COVID language. This is a long-term employee. She's the jury manager. But it was before COVID and now that she's proven herself. And when we made the equity increase, it was based on data we had from internally, countywide, looking at the salaries and making a full assessment of the situation. We also, she's in the jury budget and we had money overall in our general fund budgets.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great. So I'll take a roll call on combining those items, please.
Member Schwarze.
Aye.
Member Selman, Member Zay.
Aye.
Chair Renahan.
Aye.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Covert, Member Desart,
Aye.
Member Eckhoff, Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Krajewski, Member Ozog,
Aye.
and Member Pachowski.
All right, thank you. I'll take a motion to approve budget transfers for the Sheriff's Office. A, for cleaning and linen supplies. B, budget transfers for the Sheriff's Office for repair and other equipment. And C, 18th Judicial Circuit Court for additional salary.
So moved to start.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Member Desart,
Aye.
Chair Eckhoff, I'm sorry, Member Eckhoff, Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Krajewski.
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
Member Pachowski. Member Schwarze.
Aye.
Member Selman. Member Zay.
Aye.
Chair Renahan.
Aye.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Covert.
Okay, thank you. Those are approved. I'll take a motion to approve resolution change order amendment to resolution JPSP 341-19. This is the Sulco Partnership DBA Verizon for cell phone usage, probation, and court services to increase in the amount of $30,000.
So moved.
Second, please. Did we have a second? I couldn't hear.
I didn't hear.
Thank you, Member Eckhoff. Questions, comments? All right, roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Krajewski.
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
Member Pachowski. Member Schwarze.
Aye.
Member Selman. Member Zay.
Aye.
Chair Renahan.
Aye.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Covert. Member Desart.
Aye.
Member Eckhoff.
All right. Thank you. That's approved. I'll take a motion to approve JPSR 305-21. This is the resolution IGA with the Village of Wayne for police services with the sheriff.
So move, Zay.
Second Ozog.
Okay, and then Ozog. Do we have questions, comments, discussion on this item? Member Schwarze?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did have the pleasure of speaking with the Wayne Police Chief yesterday, Chief Nadenoff, and I'm for this. I think it's a nice thing we can do for our good friends over there in the Village of Wayne. The only thing that I would maybe suggest is discussing possible compensation for responding over to the municipal portion of Wayne. I guess we can open that for discussions.
Okay, and we do have the village president is here today and also the chief of police. I see Member Zay for more conversation on this topic.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I understand Member Schwarzy's concerns, but you know, we already do this same services for the Forest Preserve District, which is much bigger than the Village of Wayne, which honestly, Wayne is surrounded by Forest Preserve. And if there's a call and some problem at the Forest Preserve there at Pratt Wayne Woods, our Sheriff's Department responds at night, not the Forest Preserve Police. So if we do want to talk about compensation for it, then I think we have to do an overall and look at the Forest Preserve of DuPage County, then compensating the county for us making calls in obviously a larger area than the small Village of Wayne.
Thank you, Member Zay. Member Garcia, you had your hand up.
Oh, Member Schwarzy brought up my concern also, kind of answered by Member Zay. But I think this is something that we do necessarily want to look at in terms of compensation from either both of them, I believe, because, you know, I did not realize, you know, I want to make sure that we're not leaving the county shorthanded during this. It looks like it's a year contract. I'm just wondering if it's got any chances of going longer than that, or if this is just going to be the 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift.
Do we have somebody from either the sheriff or Wayne who wants to comment on that? And then we're going to go Eckhoff, Chaplain. Morning.
No. Yes, I'm sorry. We initially want to, you know,
you could introduce yourself to everyone, please.
Oh, hi, Chief Nadenoff from the Wayne Police Department. Thank you for having us here today. Initially, we were the whole reason behind it is issues with not being able to hire officers right now. We're primarily part-time police department. In the current date, I'm unable to attract qualified people at this point. We don't want to lower our standards, of course, of who we hire. So I was figuring that maybe we could take this on a year-by-year basis, you know, to find out how the hiring's going. And I don't think the Village of Wayne, I can't speak for everybody, but we wouldn't mind some type of monetary value that we could attach to this. Maybe if anything, you use it as a benchmark to be able to tell from the payments coming in how much of a resource that we are using at the Sheriff's Department. We'd be happy to entertain that figure. I know I suggested something the other day, and just for the fact that $50 a call, say, that way, you know, you have a benchmark of what we pay each year or whatever monthly.
Thank you so much for the clarification.
Under Sheriff Moore, is there anything you wanted to add to that? Thank you for that comment.
As far as the Sheriff's Department is concerned, that wouldn't be any undue burdensome on us to take over Wayne from 12 to 6 a.m. His average call is right now, the last 2 years, I think about 32 calls per year. They seem to be very easy calls, alarm calls, dog calls, loud noise calls. And if anything larger would occur, then we would call Wayne and they would actually come out and take over that call. Homicides or something more serious.
Great, thank you.
Actually, I forgot to do that. I think it is important. Anything that needs to follow as far as investigation would be involved. Say the next day, it would be primarily.
Chief, could you please move closer to the microphone? Thank you.
I'm sorry. It would be primarily for on-view incidents that happen between the overnight hours. Say there was a bigger incident that we need follow-up, we would still come out anyway then, and then so we can get the information so we can follow up on the claim.
Right. Thank you. Member Eckhoff?
And we've talked a long time about making sure that the services provided by the Sheriff's Department aren't free. And we've talked about the Forest Preserve, maybe kicking in something. And 10 years ago, we had the Village of Winfield wanted to dissolve their entire police department and maybe have us take over. And obviously that wasn't going to be free. And I've talked numerous times about the 80-20 split for the extra police officer in townships, where the township pays 80% of the salary and we pay 20. That that should probably be more like 90-10 or 100% funded by the township. So I think we do have to assign some type of monetary value to the services provided by the county, because I don't think they're free, number one, and number two, I don't want to set the precedent that they are free, even though they're going to be very minimal probably over the next year. So obviously Wayne doesn't want to pay what it costs to staff it. We don't want to have zero. So I'd suggest Wayne figure out whatever that cost would be to them, and then we try and meet somewhere in the middle. So at least we set the record that we do charge for that. And then I think since townships are paying 80% for their extra police officers, about 6 or 7 years ago, we found out that the agreement where they paid 80% when we paid 20% had fallen to 60-40. Now that it's 80-20, and that took a long time to get around to that, and the townships were not too happy about it. But it's been about 5 years since we did it. I think it's time to maybe sit down with finance and come up with a plan to go to 90-10 and give the township 6 months to a year to adjust to that. But in the interim, at least with Wayne, let's figure out some middle of the road numbers to establish a principle that we charge for our services.
All right. Great points, Member Eckhoff. Member Chaplin, you were next.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chair Renahan. So I do want to make sure, and I think Under Sheriff Moore said it, but this does not put a strain on the Sheriff's Department, making sure that you can still provide adequate coverage to the unincorporated areas during those hours?
That is correct. This would provide no additional strain on our manpower or require add any additional manpower.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I do tend to agree with what the others have said about, some compensation here, because my concern is that with the other municipalities from midnight to 6 a.m., if their departments, don't have a lot of activity, then they may want the sheriff to cover them for nothing as well. So I think it's something, that we need to look into, and I wouldn't be opposed to looking into the forest preserve as well. I think everybody should at least contribute a little bit to the sheriff's department for their services. It should, that should not fall solely on the county. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Chaplin. Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Approving this resolution today does not preclude us from coming up with some sort of a compensation. Is that correct?
Mr. State's Attorney, I think the agreement says zero compensation, doesn't it?
Yes, the agreement says zero compensation.
So we would need to reopen the resolution. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, if you wanted to allow time to negotiate with the village as to price, could they decide?
I'm sorry,
we can't hear.
Put this on the table if you wanted to negotiate some kind of a price with Wayne, and that motion that's laid on the table would have to be taken up at the next meeting. Otherwise, it would die.
Does that answer your question, Member Ozog?
Not quite clear. If we discuss this at the county board meeting, I'm not quite clear.
Actually, we would table it to the next meeting, and in the 2 weeks come up with some kind of difference in the agreement, which would be incorporated therein instead of having zero compensation.
Okay. Thank you.
We haven't heard from Member Krajewski yet. Go ahead.
Thank you. I agree with some of the other county board members. We should look at some compensation for that. I mean, Wayne, if they were going to provide the service with officers, would have to pay something for that. The second thing is, is there an indemnification agreement in there for us where Wayne would indemnify us if one of our officers or something happens?
Indemnification agreement in there is the same indemnification agreement that you have with the townships in your intergovernmental agreement to provide police services.
Okay, so it's the same one. And do we have one with the Forest Preserve? We can check on that and get back to me. I don't need an answer now. Thank you.
Member Dessart, we haven't heard from you yet. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with my fellow board members that agreeing to this would set a bad precedence that we're offering our sheriff services for free. So I would be in favor of tabling this until the next meeting and come up with some level of compensation. The chief said $50 per call, but I think what we need to do is figure out how much, say, hourly an officer makes, and then multiply that by how many, does it take an hour per call, a half hour per call? That's the way to figure out the compensation. But I would be in favor of tabling this until the next meeting where we can come up with some sort of compensation. Thank you.
Member Dessart, are you formally making a motion to table this to our next meeting?
I will make a motion to table this discussion to the next meeting.
Second.
Second to Garcia. All right, so I guess we need to take up that motion. Do we do discussion on it? Discussion and motion to table.
The county board rules state that a motion to lay a question or other proposition on the table or to take a question from the table shall not be debatable and requires only a simple majority of the form of the members present.
Okay, so
And Madam Chair, do I have to make the motion to table to a specific time? Like I can say in 2 weeks, we'll take up the motion again. I'm not sure if I need to do that, but if I do, then I'll motion to table until 2 weeks time.
okay, I think you need to do to our next meeting, which is Tuesday, July 6th.
Excellent.
And we did have a second on that. So let's take a roll call vote, please.
Member Dessart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski? Aye. Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman? Member Zay?
No.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
All right, so it looks like we do have a motion to table that, and I do appreciate the board's conversation on this. I did want to hear what everyone had to say. It would be setting a precedent. We never have done this for municipality ever before, and I'd like to thank Wayne for coming in, and I think we can probably work something out. It's just going to be a matter of time.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Member Zay.
You know, I object to, I've had my hand up for the last 5 minutes and then there's a tabling motion and discussion is ended. We could have passed this today and amended, but I think this needs to be a bigger discussion as we had talked about. I mean, some members said Wayne doesn't want to do this. That's not what the chief said. Chief said they're having problems getting people. If anybody knows, the academies have been closed. There's a bidding war between police right now trying to get people that are moving from the department to department. So now we're going to leave the people of Wayne without protection now for the next month until we decide. As we said, this is a bigger discussion. The Forest Preserve is not paid for years. So are we going to now go to the Forest Preserve and ask and see? Because I know those 32 calls in a year are a lot for the Sheriff's Department to handle, which is what, about two and a half a month? You know, so again, we could have passed this, moved to amend, and came up with what Wayne said. They were happy with paying for something, but to table it completely and now we have to wait 2 weeks or whatever we do for this. I mean, when are we going to bring the Forest Preserve forward on this, which is much bigger and I think takes more time for us to do. And by the way, they have their own police force. They just choose not to work at night and they have plenty of deputies. Here's Wayne, who's hurting to get people in a small, very small municipal police force, but now we're going to table it for one thing. So I'm just disappointed that, you know, debate is cut off because somebody makes a tabling motion before everybody's heard at the end.
Okay, well, that Robert's Rules of Order does allow that. I'm going to allow Member Schwarzy. He also had his hand up to say one more thing, and then we're going to move on.
Thank you very much. And so sounds like most of us are on the same page with this, and I don't think this is going to be a huge issue. I think it's going to pass, and we're going to find sort of a happy medium. I guess with regards to compensation, and we talked about the Forest Preserve too, I guess there's an issue of fairness. Everybody in DuPage County on their property bill has a line item for DuPage County, which covers the Sheriff's Department. Everybody has a line item for the Forest Preserve, which covers the Forest Preserve. Municipalities that you live in have a separate line item for their municipality, which covers their police department. So I guess the difference between, say, the Forest Preserve and Wayne is, you know, people in Naperville are going to, who have that line item property tax for the Sheriff's Department are now going to be, if we're not compensated for this, are going to be paying for police service in Wayne. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there where everybody pays the Forest Preserve, not everybody pays the municipality and property tax.
Thank you for that comment. So this item is not over. It's just tabled. We will discuss again on July 6th. So thank you all for your input. With that, I'll take a motion to approve FIR 30421, resolution for additional appropriation to establish the DuPage Bar Foundation Supporting Justice in Our Community grant for probation and court services, $1,000.
So moved, Schwartz.
Second, Garcia.
Schwarzy, Garcia. Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachalski?
Thank you. That passes. I'll take a motion to approve FIR 31121, resolution acceptance appropriation for Illinois Family Violence Coordinating Council Grant 22, 18 Judicial Circuit, $38,000.
So moved to start.
Start Garcia. Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Right.
Sorry. Member Covert?
Is that everyone?
Yes.
All right, great. That's approved. The coroner is asked to take off items 7E and 8A. So moving on to grants, I'll take a motion to combine and approve grants 9A, B, C, and D. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved to start.
Second, Ozog.
All right, questions on combining these? Roll call, please.
Who are we doing as second? Yeah.
Oh,
Ozog.
Ozog, thank you.
Thank you. Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy? Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski? Member Ozog?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve grant proposal 4421 Juvenile Justice Youth Serving Program, $56,300 for probation. GPN 4521 supporting our Justice Community Bar Foundation Probation and Court Service, $7,100. GPN 4821 Emergency Management Performance Grant, $601,700.65, Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and grant proposal notification GPN 50-21 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership, $11,144.35, Sheriff's Office.
So moved to start.
Second, Chaplin.
Thank you. Questions, comments on these grant proposals? All right. Roll call, please.
Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
All right, thank you. Those are received. I'll take a motion to receive and place on file informational item, Public Defender's Office, May 2021 statistical report.
So moved. Or second.
Pachalski first and then Chaplin.
Yes.
Questions, comments, roll call, please.
Member Pachalski? Member Schwarzy? Aye. Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Oh, great, that is received. Turning to old business. Do we have any old business? Member Garcia.
Just a quick question on the, did we do the procurement requisition? I'm assuming I voted on it, yes. But I'm just wondering why we are buying still from Frankfurt and not within the DuPage County limits. And I know this has been talked about before, but what needs to be changed so that this can become a new rule that we are actually buying and we're getting tax dollars in DuPage County?
It's like we've got our CFO, we've also got procurement here. Whoever wants to address that. Jim McGuire.
Yeah, by state statute, we're not allowed to set location when we purchase. in a bid or an RFP situation. So location cannot be one of the criteria. And this was intending to be bought under a co-op as well price. So we do check those prices on a regular basis. We review it with DuPage County firms. Sometimes they win, sometimes they choose not to bid.
Okay, so there's nothing we can put in that states because we're not a home rule, basically, is that what it is?
Correct. According to state statute, we're not home rule. We cannot use location as a criteria.
And I understand what you're saying. I just think it's such a pity that we're not buying from local dealerships because the tax dollars could be benefited here. I mean, we're all hurting in DuPage County. We're trying to help businesses in DuPage County. So lower your prices. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
That answers your question. Thank you. I see Member Krajewski's had his hand up over here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was mentioning home rule, but just again, I'd like to get that forest preserve, see if we have an intergovernmental for liability like we do for the townships and it's supposedly in Wayne's. And then we should also address the forest preserve.
All right. Thank you for that comment. Member Zay.
Thank you. Just for procurement, we're a government body, so we do not pay sales tax, right?
No, we do not pay sales tax.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Member Chaplin, was that your comment also? Okay. All right, great. Member Dessart?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To Member Zay's point regarding 7B, I too agree that the next time the Forest Preserves IGA comes up with the DuPage County Sheriff's Office, I agree that we should look into charging them as well. So that's why I'm looking for our administration finance to come up with a fee that makes sense per call. Maybe there's levels per call, because as the chief said, the Wayne chief said, some of the calls are just quick, noise control or something like that. And some are a little more complicated, but I agree with Member Zay that when the Forest Preserves IGA comes up, we should look into charging them per call as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that comment. Do we have anything else under old business? I'm seeing none. Moving on to new business. Any new business? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn, please. Pachalski.
Second.
Second, Schwarzy. All right, roll call, please.
Member Pachalski. Member Schwarzy.
Aye.
Member Selman. Member Zay.
Aye.
Chair Ranahan.
Aye.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Covert. Member Dessart.
Aye.
Member Eckhoff. Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Krajewski.
Aye.
Member Ozak.
Aye.
All right, thank you all very much.